This is 138 openings of wisdom. Opening 15. About Keter, the first foundation, it is forbidden to ask. That's what he says. It's forbidden to ask about Keter. I suppose that's an expression that describes how hidden, how sacred, and how sublime Keter is. But obviously we're studying about it, so we are, in a sense, asking. So I guess it's just a figure of speech. About Keter, the first foundation, it is forbidden to ask. From Chachma onwards, it is a mitzvah to investigate. Maybe he really means it, that you're not supposed to ask about Keter. But at any rate, Chachma is translated as wisdom. It's in the supernal Sefirot. The Keter, Chachma, and Da'at. Keter is on top, and there's Chachma, Bina, and Da'at within the first. And the fact of the matter is I'm not exactly sure how it's lined up in different systems, but those are a few things that are talked about, that are there in that area. As to why the entire structure exists in the way it does, this being the first axiom of the Sefirot, one may not ask a reason, for this is contingent upon the supreme will. However, everything that comes after this axiom, it is permissible to inquire into and seek to understand, namely how these levels function in the government of the world. Having explained this first foundation, we will now discuss where it is forbidden to investigate and where it is permitted. As to why the entire structure exists in the way it does, this being the first axiom of the Sefirot, one may not ask a reason. This is, as I said above, the first axiom is Keter, of which the sages said, do not search out that which is too wondrous for you. Chagiga 13a. For the light of Keter is the law that is the first of all the levels. This law institutes that precisely these should be the levels arranged in just the way they are now. Thus Keter is literally the totality of everything, and the Keter is bound up with Ein Sof, blessed be He, who is the all-powerful will. Accordingly, it is impossible to understand the root of this axiom and why it is precisely this way, because it is rooted in the all-powerful, in the perfection of the supreme will. It is certainly forbidden to occupy ourselves with Ein Sof, namely in his intrinsic perfection, as it is from his side, as the all-powerful, for this is already beyond the grasp of thought. It follows that it is forbidden to exercise the mind in seeking to understand Keter in the sense of trying to discover its reason or purpose. For these are rooted above, as discussed earlier. Accordingly, of Keter and Ein Sof it is said, do not search out that which is too wondrous for you, that which is covered from you. For this is contingent upon the supreme will, as we have said above. However, Chachma is the thought that divides things into their particulars in the proper way, in accordance with what has already been laid in place in the first axiom, which instituted just as many levels and aspects as necessary. Chachma then specifies all that is required for the government of the worlds in detail, as it is written, you made them all with wisdom. Psalms 104:24. Now, what exists in Chachma also exists in Keter, in that Keter also includes everything involved in the government of the worlds. However, since this is not in the sense of how they actually operate to govern, but rather in the sense of their basic existence, the light of Keter does not reveal how they govern at all, but only the fact of their existence. Here, there is a reason for their existence, and this depends upon the supreme will. This is what is forbidden to investigate. But when it comes to the way the worlds are governed, as specified in detail in Chachma, it is a positive mitzvah, a duty to seek understanding and knowledge. Now, Bina is the revelation of Chachma, while Zeir, the small face, Chesed before Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Nukva, the female, which is Malchut, are the totality of the entire government, dividing into 7 categories. It is precisely these that were already rooted in Chachma, and they were divided in the proper manner, while Bina brought them forth, each one by itself to its place in the proper way. In other words, the mind, Machshava, Chachma, calculated everything in its entirety, all being bound to their goal, which is Keter, and this encompasses the totality of the entire government. But it is Bina that brings each one forth individually in actuality without its being bound to any other. On the contrary, each one must accomplish what it has to accomplish in its proper place. The 7 lower Sephirot constitute the various types or varieties of government. Accordingly, everything that comes after this first axiom is subject to inquiry, and thus everything that comes after this axiom is permissible to inquire into and seek to understand, namely how these levels function in the government of the worlds. We are not investigating either the essence of the emanator, blessed be his name, or even the essence of the Sephirot themselves, which are a single unity with the essence of the emanator, for they are nothing but the powers of his thought. We are concerned only with the functioning of his powers, their actions, and their government. Of this it is said, in what is permitted to you, seek understanding. Chagiga and 13a, I believe.